I often remind my listeners that when I'm thinking about people to invite onto the podcast, I look for people who I call difference makers. Sometimes it's a world-class researcher, sometimes it's an MS specialist, and today it's you, because the proceeds from the sale of this book are going to support MS research. So thank you for choosing to use your art as a fundraising vehicle for MS research. In the spirit of full disclosure, I'll mention that your wife, Marie Vaillant, lives with MS, and she's not only a member of the International Progressive MS Alliance People Affected by MS Engagement Coordination Team, but Marie is also a member of the Alliance Scientific Steering Committee. Reading about you in this book, I discovered that you were first drawn to art at the age of 5, at the hands of a woman described as, and I'm quoting now, an elegant, Hungarian, bracelet-wearing, cigarette-smoking, long-skirted, aristocratic bohemian artist, which I have to say is quite a beginning. Can you tell tell me about that?
She really was that, John. She really was.
And what was that experience at 5?
Well, it was quite vivid for me, actually, and I remember just being intrigued by the smell of the oil paint and probably the fact that she was chain smoking, which was sort of unusual for me to see at the age of 5. But and then, of course, she did a portrait of myself. She did one of my brother Brian, and she did one of my mother, which my mother hated the portrait, and I think she threw it out eventually somewhere along the line. And then she also did a ceramic bust of my older brother Ronald. And so it was quite an introduction. I still have the painting she did of me, and it is actually in the book.
How long have you been painting now?
I'd say I probably got into it at about the age of 14. Where I went to high school, there was a commercial art program, and I think I took art as an option. And then in Canada, we had a grade 13 for many years, and so I took. Instead of taking the normal arts and science program for grade 13, I took a special commercial art program, which was only offered in one school in the city at the time. That's the city of Ottawa, Canada, by the way.
What makes you get up in the morning still wanting to paint?
Well, it's just something that's always intrigued me all my life. I've been involved in not only painting, but graphic design and advertising, but there's always been a creative bent, and painting just fascinates me. Not only painting myself, but also studying some of the great masters of Impressionism and the Renaissance, and of course Rembrandt, who I think was just an amazing painter. But all of those things really intrigue me.
Well, I'm glad you brought up your study of some of the masters. Getting back to the book for a moment, it chronicles your travels and many of the key moments in your life by featuring your paintings reflecting various travel destinations and those important moments. And one of the things that I was taken by is the variety of styles you're able to employ so successfully. When I typically look at an artist's portfolio, I rarely see such a wide variety of diverse styles. So how did that happen?
I never really developed a style per se. I always found I was experimenting with different ideas and different styles, but then when I look back on all the paintings that I've done in my life, I do see a cohesion and an actual kind of a flow to what I've been doing. And of course, there's always another painting to be done tomorrow. So,
I see that same flow as well. As someone whose spouse lived with progressive MS, I don't want to miss the opportunity to ask you about Marie. Were you two already together when she was diagnosed with MS?
We met, excuse me, in 1994, and Marie was diagnosed, I think, 2 years later in 1996. And, we've had our challenges over the years, but Marie has learned to live with it quite well.
So, if I can take you back to 1996 for a moment, what were your initial thoughts when Marie was diagnosed?
I think we were both in shock. And of course, the internet wasn't at the level that it's at now, so we didn't really know where to get more information. And someone pointed us to the local MS Society, and they had information nights. I think it was 2 nights a month or something like that. And we went, and that was very helpful because it took some of the questions away and some of the mystery away that we were concerned about. And of course, that was Marie's first involvement with the MS Society, and she went on to volunteer for the local chapter for many years.
Do you consider yourself Marie's care partner?
We usually use the words personal assistant as in a joking way, but Marie is still very independent and still gets around. She still drives and goes to her club 5 days a week and works out to keep her core strong. And I don't think we use the words caregiver yet. Let's put it that way. But
go ahead and assume for a moment that someone, maybe someone who's listening to this conversation, has recently been diagnosed with MS. And one of the things they're wondering about is how that MS diagnosis may affect their relationship with their significant other. What advice would you share with them and their partner?
I think I would get as much information as you can about MS from credible sources. There's so much stuff on the internet now, and there's certainly some theories and treatments that can be debunked. But I would definitely go to sources like the MS Society of Canada or the MS Society in the United States that are credible sources of information.
Well, getting back to this incredible book, I've mentioned that proceeds are going to support MS research and MS Canada, which is the name of the MS Society in Canada. How can people find out more about the book and order a copy?
Okay, well, the website to go to is 24212.com. And you can find out all about the book, you can donate to the MS Society, you can purchase a book, or the other kind of fun thing that's going on is I'm going to be doing a calendar in the fall. And in the meantime, I'm getting people to vote month by month for which painting they want to go in the calendar. So, for instance, for the month of July, there's 2 paintings. One's called Marie's Garden, and the other's called Backyard Summer. So you can go to 24to12.com and vote for which one you would like to see in the calendar. So by mid-September, the voting will all be done. And we're also using it as a way to reach out to people and raise awareness about MS as well. So we're doing a lot of Facebook posts, but for each post that we talk about the calendar, we talk about something about MS as well.
I just want to reconfirm that website again. It is 24to12.com.
24to12.com. You're absolutely right.
Gordon Keith, I want to thank you for the difference you're making through your art and your philanthropy. And thanks so much for talking with me.